Beautiful day to film in the country. We got fog. That's why you can't have nice things. Yeah, now that, my friends, is something I've been trying to get fixed for about a year. Yeah, the leak. So I'm Doug Smith. I'm study director at the Secular Buddhist Association. That's secularbuddhism.org. If you're interested in helping to promote a kinder, a wiser, and a less stress-filled world, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll have videos out like this roughly once or twice a week, Mondays, maybe Thursdays if I can manage it. So if you're subscribed, you'll learn about them. We all like nice things. We like pretty things. We like to be surrounded by pretty things. Here I am in the country. It's beautiful. So why can't we have nice things? So it's like the internet meme asks, why can't we have nice things? Well, partly that's because of humans, bad people, trolls, folks making a difficult time of things, folks screwing things up. You see that in politics, frankly. You see that in daily life. It happens all the time. There's always going to be a certain percentage of people who are going to give us trouble. But more than that, you know, the world is that way. The world trolls us all the time. I mean, you look at the recent events that we've had down in Texas and down in Florida, you know that even though a place like the country, the Florida, southern Texas are beautiful places. Living next to the water is gorgeous. Living next to the ocean is gorgeous. But you got to deal with the facts of the world. You've got to deal with storms. You've got to deal with tide. You've got to deal with repairing your house. You've got to deal with having a car. All these kinds of things that come with being in certain places in the world. And there's no escape from it. That's the other thing. It's not like you can find somewhere where you're going to be safe from all this stuff. But that's the way we approach it. We think to ourselves, if I just had that one more thing, everything would be safe. If I just had the right house, if I just could find the right place to live, if I could just buy one more thing to add on to what I already have, everything would be all right. That's the kind of message that we're sold by advertising, is the notion that if we only bought this one more thing, somehow the world would come together for us. That one additional beautiful thing, one additional great thing for us would make it all okay. And I don't want to put it all in advertising because part of it, in fact, half of it, the other part is ourselves. The reason the advertising works is because of the way we tend to think about these things. Because the other reason we can't have nice things is because we tend to have a death grip on them when we have them. We tend to think, if I could just hold on to this nice thing, if I could just hold on to this day, if I could just hold on to this experience, everything would be all right. And a moment's thought about that will reveal both how unwise it is, because we know that these things are going to change, but also how stressful that can be. The notion that by some kind of unrelenting effort, by unrelenting stress on our part, we can get ourselves to a place that somehow everything is going to always be nice for us, that the nice things will come and stay, that the world will be beautiful. And I'm not saying that we can't do some things in our life. I'm not saying that by putting in effort we can't, let's say, make a better lives for ourselves. Of course we can, and to an extent, the path that we're on, this kind of path, a secular Buddhist path, is a path of effort, of course. But the question is what direction we're putting that effort into. Are we putting the effort into increasing our wisdom, into increasing our kindness, into finding ways to decrease stress? Or are we putting that effort into finding nice things and trying to hold on to them? The second path, I think, is the path that we're sold both by advertising but also by ourselves. This is something that comes from the inside out, and it's something that the Buddha noticed long before the age of modern advertising. There's a great YouTube video I saw recently by Doug DeMuro, who's a guy who does car reviews. And I saw this, I'll try to put a link up here somewhere on the screen if I can figure out a way to do it, where he reviews the Kia Spectre, which he calls the greatest car he's ever reviewed. And of course it's a joke on his part. He's a guy who normally reviews cars that are, you know, in the six figures, and he seems to own a whole bunch of them as far as I can tell. But his point in this video, I think, it's one of these examples where humor can get to real deep wisdom. because his point is the Kia Spectre is the best car he's ever reviewed, because when he's in it, he's relaxed. He doesn't have to worry about the dents that might come from parking it in the wrong place. He doesn't have to worry about the grocery carts in the parking lot coming up and, banging against his car and scratching it or denting it. He doesn't have to worry about potholes. He doesn't have to worry about keeping it clean. When something goes wrong with it, he doesn't have to worry about the incredible expense it's going to take to get the thing fixed. But here's, I suppose, the important part. The Kia Spectre is a perfectly fine car, but it's not a nice thing by these kinds of standards. It's not one of the normal cars he reviews. It's not the beautiful Lamborghini or whatever it happens to be that he likes. The point is, it works. It does the job. And it does it with much less stress. And while, of course, Doug DeMuro is trying to make a funny point here, and I don't know how seriously he actually takes that, probably not, nevertheless, look, it's an important point to make. There are dangers in sense pleasures. That's the point. It seems like the sense pleasures are all good. We descend into them like into a pillow, like into a comfortable bed. We're surrounded by sense pleasures a lot of the times. We surround ourselves with them. We put beautiful things up on our walls. We try to buy nice furniture. We try to paint the walls a nice color. When we're on vacation, we go to nice places. These are normal things. This is stuff that we all do, and I'm just as guilty as the next person. The point of practice, though, is to see the dangers in that, and to see where they come from, to see how they insinuate themselves into our lives, to see how in their strange way they stress us out, both because of the amount of money they take to achieve, but because of the effort then it takes to achieve that financial status, but also because of the worries we have once we own these things or seem to own them, the difficulties they bring to us, the amount of time we have to spend on them. So here's my question for you today. What do you think about sense pleasures? How do you deal with them in your life? Do you think that they're an unalloyed good that you just surround yourself with and you fall into like into a beautiful, comfortable bed? Or are they the kinds of things where you begin to wonder for a while whether they have drawbacks, and what drawbacks they have, and what drawbacks do you see in them? So I hope this has been a useful discussion for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm really, really glad to have you here. And if you're coming back for more, glad to have you back. So anyway, hope that was useful, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.